Hello and welcome to What the Math. Today we'll be taking a look at FOIL method and some visual alternatives that will help you remember how to FOIL things out better. Now, what is FOIL method, you may ask? Well, just like you, whenever I hear or see FOIL, all I think about is this. Yeah, that's right. FOIL, for me at least, that's a FOIL. It's a cooking apparatus. It's something that your mom uses to bake and make cookies, and it's something that it should not really be used in math, because even today I'm still confused by how FOIL method works whenever I use this mnemonic. So instead we're going to come up with something really good, something that will help you remember it better. A lot of the books like to explain FOIL this way. So you take this term and you multiply it by this term, and this is called first, so it's F. You can't even see this anymore. This is first. Then you take this term and you multiply by this term, and this is called outer, so it's O. Then you take these two terms and you cross multiply them, and this is what they call inner, so it's I. And finally take this term, and this is last, so it's called FOIL. Now, honestly, I'm always confused by this. I never remember what's what and where. And really the main problem here is that if this is actually a minus, FOIL doesn't really have an explanation for why this should become a minus. In other words, a lot of people make mistakes when they use FOIL method because they forget that if this is minus, you change your sign. So let's come up with something a little bit better. Now, first I'm going to use the same example that they have in the book, and I'm going to write it right here. So imagine you have A plus B, and it's in brackets, and it's multiplied by C plus D, also in brackets. And what this gives you is you get AC plus AD plus BC plus BD. Now, first I'm going to show you a kind of a table-like way of solving this, or basically showing you how this works. So this is how you can solve this with the table. So let's just underline these with blue and underline these with yellow. So this is going to be a new color for these letters, and I'm going to write my A and B right here, and I'm going to write my C and D right here. And basically, and then, oh, just to remember, we're going to add a plus because that's our plus right here. And basically what you do is you draw a table just like this, and now you cross multiply every single one of these little cells inside the table. So this will be A times C is AC, B times C is BC, A times D is AD, and B times D is BD. And so what you get as a result is you get AC plus BC plus AD and plus BD, which is exactly what we have right here. So that's one of the easier ways of solving this. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more difficult when it's a minus. So let's just look at this example right here, and this is where everything is a negative. So A minus B times C minus D. So this is, if you use FOIL, it really is confusing. So let me just try to use FOIL for this particular method and see if we get it right. So A times C, that's the first value, gives us AC. Then A times D, so this is minus AD. And I'm just following the FOIL rule as it's been taught to me by my teachers. Then you have minus B times C, and then minus B times D. Oops, B times D. Alright, so let's see if this is correct. Now, I can tell you right away this is actually not correct. I'm going to rewrite my BD so it looks a little bit better. But this is not correct. There's already a mistake here. And a lot of students make this mistake when they use FOIL method. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this with the table so that it's a little bit more clear why there's a mistake. Now, firstly, let's make our table again. So here we have A. A is in blue. I'm going to underline it right here. And this right here, the next letter is actually, it's minus B, because there's a minus. This is minus B. Then we have our C, positive C, and we have minus D. So this is right here is minus D. So let's make a table and let's try to solve this again. And the first value right here is AC. Second value is minus B times C is minus BC. Third value, A times minus D, is minus AD. And the fourth value is minus B times minus D. Now, minus times minus gives us plus, so it's actually plus BD. And this is also plus right here. So if I rewrite these as an answer, what you'll get is plus AC, minus BC, minus AD, and plus BD. And as you can see, this is the mistake right here. This should be plus and not minus. So if you do it with a table, it's actually a little bit easier not to make a mistake. So FOIL method is not foolproof, unfortunately. And finally, let's look at a kind of a mnemonic or a kind of a visual representation that you can use to try to remember how to FOIL in case you totally forget how to do the actual FOIL or how to do the table that I just showed you. So imagine that these are basically like two houses and there's two roommates or neighbors living in them. So just like in the distributive property video, imagine this is C and D and they live together, and this is A and B and they also live together. Now A and B decide to visit this little house right here. This is a house and this is also a house. But they decide to visit it one by one. So they're not going together. They're going one by one, and they want to take out these two neighbors for dinner. So let's just make a situation here where these two neighbors just moved in. It's a new house, and these are the neighbors that used to live here a long time ago. And so they basically they decide to kind of take them out, show them around. And so let's start with the A who comes to the house first, knocks on the door, says hello. Let me just take you all out, but I'm gonna take you out one by one because my car is really small, doesn't fit everyone. So let's start with A, and A decides to take out C and D. So I'm gonna rewrite this right here. So it's C and D, and then since this is a plus, we put plus right here. And then B decides to take C and D as well, and we have the same thing on this side, so C and D. So basically what I just did is I rewrote this as two separate terms, A right here multiplied by C plus D, and B right here as C plus D multiplied by C plus D. So if you remember how to distribute, if you remember the distributive property video, basically now all you do is you cross multiply these two terms, and then these two terms, and these two terms. And then you add them all up. So what we get is, we get AC, or A takes out C first, and then A takes out D, then some other day B takes out C, and B takes out D. And this is really how you can kind of try to remember it. Just remember it's two neighbors, and then the new neighbors want to get taken out, but they can only do it one by one. And the old neighbors can also take them out one by one because let's just say that their car is like really, really small. So it's a really, really small car that can only fit two people. And that is why you have two terms here, 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 and here. Alright, so that's really it. That's how the foiling method works. Just one more reminder. Remember that whenever there's a minus right here, the last term, the last letter right here will actually change its sign to minus as well in the last term. So this will actually become AC plus AD minus BC, and then this will become minus BD. So this minus will influence the last letter. Alright, so thank you for watching and good luck. Bye bye.